Hey everybody, welcome back to our intro to Animal Crossing series. We're going to go ahead and get started. You can see on our intro screen, little Axel is walking around exploring. So I'll go ahead and press A. And you can see in the lower right hand side is our little bobbing island letting us know that the game is loading. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes, but it's a pretty big game with a big world, so we've just got to be a little patient. There we are. And we have Tom Nook. So every day Tom Nook is going to address us. Sometimes he's got news, sometimes he doesn't, so let's see what he has to say today. An island-wide broadcast. Alright, so let's see what Tom has to say. Oh, no news today. Oh, so it looks like they are introducing mushrooms into the game. We will have to look around and see if we can find some mushrooms. Alright, oh, we're going to be crafting with some mushrooms. Crafting is something that we will look at today as well, since that's a good chunk of the game and we haven't really talked too much about that. Alright. Oh, so we can eat the mushrooms. Awesome. Identifying mushrooms can be a very challenging task. So, we are not to eat mushrooms unless we are in Animal Crossing, because we don't know what kind they might be. So, thank you for the warning, Tom. Yes, we'll get them checked out if we find any out in the world. So there's our little person. Oh, and you can see the mailbox to the left. That little glowing envelope means that we've got mail. So I'm going to walk over here, line myself at the mailbox, and hit A. Oh, we got something from Mom. Oh, how is your new life treating you? Are you eating well, brushing your teeth, washing behind your ears? Oh dear, I'm all worked up. Here's a little something to help out. Eat it or plant it, but think of me. Mom. Oh, how nice. And there's a present attached to this. So I'm going to hit A to get the present and put it in my pocket. Alright, and now we don't really need to keep this. You can keep your letters if you want, but if you keep them all, they tend to clutter up your mailbox. So I'm going to hit the minus button and throw it away. Now it's gone and I have nothing new. So we'll go ahead and close that. What I'm going to do now is hit the X button, which lets me see what I've got. And looks like I have some presents from earlier as well. So let's see what kind of presents we've got. I'm going to hit the A button on this present and hit open. Oh, it's a ring con. We'll have to look at that and see what that is. Open the next present. Oranges. Oh, very nice. And the last present. A simple DIY workbench. That's awesome. So whenever you see a little symbol with an acorn on it, that is a DIY. So it's basically a recipe. You'll gather different things from around the island and use them to make other objects. But first you have to, quote unquote, learn the recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and click on A on my recipe and hit learn. Is this a DIY recipe? I wonder how I can memorize it. Well, let's find out. Uh-oh, looks like we can't do that yet. Well, we will just have to wander around until we figure out how to do that. So, what we're going to do is let's go looking for some mushrooms. Lots and lots of leaves. Oh, that looks like a mushroom to me. Let's get closer to it. It's a skinny mushroom. Okay. So I'm going to hit Y and put it in my pocket. Let's see if we can find any other kinds of mushrooms today. Oh, look, well, before we go and talk to our friend, looks like we've got a round mushroom here. Pick that up, put it in our pocket. Alright, so Renee, let's talk to her. Oh, haven't seen you in a while, like 2 weeks. It has been a little while, but you don't need to make me feel guilty, Renee. Oh, well, it's nice to be missed. Well, it's very great to see you as well, Renee. Alright. So ideally, you play Animal Crossing every day, and every day you talk to all of the residents on your island. That helps you get better relationships with them. But since we don't play every day, they're going to try to make me feel guilty. So here's Axel. Let's see what Axel wants to say. Oh, he's having a hard time fishing. I understand, Axel, truly. Alright, so let's look for some more mushrooms. Oh, there's a stone. Pick that up. Mushrooms. Stone. Pick that up. A grasshopper. I'm sure at some point we'll be able to do something with the bugs. Oh, look, there's another mushroom. Let's pick that up. Oh, here's something. So there's a little glowing mark on the ground, and we don't have any tools yet, but when we get our shovel, we'll be able to dig that up, and I bet you there'll be something worthwhile under that spot. Go over because I found another mushroom, a skinny mushroom. Let's go over and see what Tom Nook has to say now. I wonder, maybe he's got some more instructions for us. But I'm glad we were able to find some mushrooms. Okay. So let's go talk to him. We'll go up to him and press A. Hello. So let's see. What should I do? If you're ever in doubt of what you should be working on to move forward in the game, you can always come here, go to Tom Nook, and click on what should I do. That is the question. Oh, here we go. We've got to attend a DIY workshop. When we do that, we'll be able to craft things, I bet. Alright, a free workshop. Who doesn't like a free workshop? So, he looks like he's finished talking to me, but let's go back and talk to him again about that workshop. Sometimes you'll talk to Tom Nook and he'll give you an introduction to something, and then you have to go back and talk to him more in order to find out more about that. So just because he stopped talking to you doesn't mean he doesn't have more to say. So let's go ahead and hit about that workshop. DIY workshop. Oh, we get to make and keep our own tools and receive a set of DIY recipes. Alright. So we can say, I'd love to attend the next available session. What does DIY mean? Or some other time. Well, we don't have anything going on right now, so and we know DIY means do it yourself. So let's go ahead and click on I'd love to. Alright, so we're going to get started. So crafting is one of the main things that we do on Animal Crossing. It's probably what I spend most of the time doing, collecting different things and taking them to a workbench and creating new things out of them. So once we learn how to do this, this is going to open up a whole new world for us. Alright, so it's simple to do. Alright, so we gather materials, follow a recipe, and then craft using a workbench. right now, this workbench is the only workbench on the island, but as you get farther into the game, you'll be able to make workbenches and put them wherever you like. Okay, so we're going to make a fishing rod. So we'll need 5 tree branches. Okay. Come see me once you've collected the materials. All right. So our mission is to collect 5 tree branches. So let's go find them. Okay. Tree branches, tree branches. So a lot of the times you will find tree branches just lying on the ground. So here's one. Pick it up with Y. Here's another one. Pick it up with Y. Oh, look, mushroom. Another one. Pick it up with Y. So we need 2 more. 2 more tree branches. Okay. There's one. One more. There we go. Right there. And if you hit the X at any point, that'll show you what you've got. So, oh, looks like I already had a tree branch. So now I've got 6 tree branches. You can also see where those mushrooms went. You've got 2 brown mushrooms and 3 skinny mushrooms. Alright, but let's head back toward Tom Nook since we have all the tree branches that we need. Let's make a fishing pole. Alright, so let's go back and talk to Tom. Yes, we found the necessary materials. Alright, select a project from the workbench and get started. So let's go over to the workbench. Hit the A button. Okay, so we have a recipe for a flimsy fishing rod. You'll see the picture of the fishing rod and then a label that says craftable. So that means that you have all the necessary materials in your inventory to create it. At some point you'll have a lot more recipes listed in here. And some of them will say craftable and some of them will not. If they don't say craftable, it means that you need to get more materials in order to create them. But for this one, we have what we need. So I'm going to hit A. Alright. This lets me know that I need 5 tree branches. I've got 6 out of 5, so I'm going to have 1 extra. And I'm just going to click on A to craft it. Do I want to craft it? Let's do it. I made a flimsy fishing rod. Wonderful. So that was our first craft that we made. Our first DIY. Go ahead and hit A. And that's it for the workshop. That was pretty simple. Oh, he's going to give us some recipes. That's wonderful. Okay, so we're going to open up our phone, and Tom is going to send us some more recipes. So, to open up our phone, there's kind of a trigger button on the top left-hand corner that opens up your phone. But for this, we really didn't have to do anything. It just opened it up automatically. Alright, now I've got the DIY app on our phone, and we can craft whenever we want. Right. So yeah, a lot of the tools, and you'll see this, they do break after a certain amount of use. So you have to keep coming on back and crafting new tools, but that's part of the fun. Oh, fishing tips. Okay. Aim in the front of the shadow of a fish when you cast your line. Okay. Duly noted. Oh, if we catch anything, you'd like to see it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is remember that recipe we got before. I'm going to go back into our inventory by hitting X and go over to Simple DIY Workbench, and I'm going to hit A and hit Learn. Okay. Sweet! I learned a DIY recipe for a simple DIY workbench. Awesome. So now what we can do is go back over to our workbench. I just turned her around there. Hit A. Should I craft something? Well, maybe. Let's see. Let's craft. Okay, so this is going to show all the DIYs we have. So the flimsy fishing rod, you can see there's a check mark in the bottom right-hand corner, and that means that we have created it. We made it before. We've also got the one that we just opened up, the simple DIY workbench. We've got one for a campfire, and we've got one for a flimsy net. So for the simple DIY workbench, let me hit A. So we need 5 pieces of hardwood and 1 iron nugget. Okay. How about the campfire? We need 3 tree branches. Well, that'd be easy to do. And for the flimsy net, we need 5 tree branches. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of there by hitting B. And we're going to head out. Okay, so for one of the crafts that said that we need hardwood, I'm going to show you a way to get different types of wood to do different types of crafts. However, you do have to be really careful. If you go up to a tree and you get really close in there and hit the A button, she'll shake the tree, and sometimes nothing comes out, like just that. Sometimes you'll get fruit. Sometimes a bug will pop out. Oh, looks like we're not getting any wood though, so we probably have to get another tool in order to get wood. So let's start working on our tools. Let's start picking up some tree branches. So we already got 1 in our inventory, so that's another one we picked up. There's another one we picked up, so we should have 3, 4, 5. Let's see how many more we get. Let's see what we can craft. Okay, sorry, but you need to get out of the way. Okay. Alright, so let's go up to our bench. Yes, let's craft some things. Okay, now each of these things say that they are craftable. Except for the simple DIY workbench, because we don't have everything we need for that. But let's go ahead, let's get a net. So we have 7 tree branches, it takes 5. Let's go ahead and craft that. So I made a flimsy net. I'm all done for now. If you have more than 1 DIY you want to make, you can hit keep on crafting, and it'll take you back to your recipes. But for now, I'm going to hit X and go to where my net is. I'm going to hit A and then hold, and there I am holding my net. Now if I hit A, my net goes down. So let's see what we can catch. Caught a grasshopper. Yes. Oh, it's a long locust, or as they call it, a locust. Alright, so we caught something. That's awesome. Let's see if we can find anything else to use our net on. Bugs. Oh. Let's see if I can catch you before you leave. Oh, no, I missed you. Oh, well. Sometimes you've got to aim it just right. Well, let's go ahead and put our net away for now. So, actually just by hitting the down button on the left controller, that will make your tools go away. And looks like we've got some shells. Let's pick up some shells. I bet you they'll be useful at some point. Let's see what else we've got. A bunch of shells. Alright, so here's the thing about the different things that you pick up around the island, is that you only have so much space in your inventory. So at some point you're going to want to unload so that you can put more things in your inventory. So what we're going to do is find an item that we don't necessarily want to hold on to. So let's say like the Venus comb shell. If I hit A, it gives me the option to drop the item. Alright, and it drops it right there in front of me. Let's do that with the cowrie. Do it with the sea snail. And let's do it with the apples. You see there's also options to eat one or grab one. We're not going to worry about that right now. For right now, we're just going to drop it. Let's drop our stones. Let's drop our oranges. There we go. And that gives us a lot more space. So the last thing we're going to do is we are going to take this grasshopper that we caught and show it to Tom Nook, since he said that he's interested in the fauna of the island. We'll see if he wants to take a look at it. Alright, so let's go over to Tom. Let's see. I found a creature. I did. He wants to take a look at the locust. So I'm going to go ahead and move my cursor over to the locust and hit A. This gets it in a little plastic container. Who knows what other creatures are going to be living there. I bet you there's a bunch. Oh, a friend of his owns a museum, and he wants to send it to him for a closer look. Well, I have no reason to keep the locust around, so he can send it to him. Alright. Oh, so it looks like that Tom is going to give us a new app for our phone. Oh, the Critterpedia. Oh, so with this app we get all the details about the bugs, fish, and sea creatures that we catch. Alright, we'll have to fill in with our discoveries. Alright, so awesome. So I lied, we are going to do one more thing before we stop for today. So let's take a look at our Nook phone. We're going to hit the kind of trigger button that's on the top of the left controller that opens our Nook phone, and then go to where it says Nook Miles and hit A. And let's see if there's anything new for us to get miles for. Scrolling down bit by bit. Nope, nothing yet. Go back up to the top and make sure. Nope. No more miles for today, but that's alright. We will we'll continue to get miles as we go along. Okay, so that is it for today. Be looking for our next video in the next week or so. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact the library, ask for Britta. You can also email me at britttak@dkpl.org. Thanks so much for joining us.